And we are live. Hello, everyone. Oh, I've just been talking to my best friend in the whole world, Kai Karrel, and we've been catching up, and my heart feels so happy. And we're so excited to be bringing you the first of many Facebook Lives. So,
Awesome.
welcome, Kai.
Thank you. I have you. I wanted to see how it looks like on the other screen. Hi, how are you? Look at that beautiful scenery behind you, the Ganges River in Rishikesh.
Honey, I love this river so much. It's like the perfect place to be able to pour everything into. And like before we got on Facebook Live, I was talking to Kai about how being an empath, like when I wake up in the morning before I put up any of my shields or anything, like there's so much terror in the world, there's so much fear, there's so much grief. And so I just feel all of that. And then on the other side, there's so much love. Like I've never felt the ability for people's hearts broken open so much to love. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, we're living in such a wondrous moment in the history of humanity right now because we're at the cusp of a huge opportunity, and
So
many people are taking this opportunity to understand how important our individual changes are and how every one of us can be the cause for despair or the cause for the solution.
And it's so interesting to me. So many of my friends and family and loved ones around the world are inside. Like you and I have talked about this so many times in the past 8 years of that we're too busy. Like I started Overdoers Anonymous last year because I know there's so much busy and so much going out and so much to prove. And even when I stopped needing to prove anything, there was still so many opportunities to go out. And so you and I were having that conversation this morning. And so do you want to share with the community, like what's your view on why everyone's been so busy and why do we just keep doing and doing and doing and now we can't?
We are so busy because we are uncomfortable in being by ourselves. And I'm not even talking about ourselves in isolation. I'm staying at a friend's house, and I don't know the size of this room, let's say 10 feet by 5 6, I don't know, but this for me is a universe. I have so much. Today I sat on the grass outside doing nothing, but most of us feel very uncomfortable to be on our own. And to be on our own, I'm talking in this 5 inches by 5 inches, whatever it is, because God forbid if we slow down and we don't have so much to do and places to be, we'll have to actually face what's inside, and that is very uncomfortable. So now the universe is doing us a favor and putting us in the corner. Go think about it. Sit there, think about what you did, and maybe be for 3 seconds. So there's a lot of emotions that are coming up for us because interestingly enough, the one of the fears that will come is the fear of death. My God, if I go to the store, what if I get this virus? And every time someone sneezes, oh my, I'm sneezing. Oh my God, I'm about to die. But this fear of isolation, this fear of aloneness is something that we will have to deal with in one point or another. It could be now, it could be tomorrow, it could be 10 years, you'll be sick, you'll eventually die. In that moment, in the last moment, when you'll close your eyes, it's only going to be you. No one's going to be there with you. So it's a beautiful opportunity to slow down, to really observe, is those things that you're so busy doing, are they really that important? Because suddenly it's so beautiful. That's the opportunity that's happening. People are talking to their neighbors, people are taking care of each other. So we see two movements happening at the same time. On one hand, there are people that are hoarding, and there are like 14,000 hand sanitizers and 16,000 toilet paper, and in a way they're acting very selfishly, right, with a lot of selfishness. They're like so afraid of their health and their life and they're contributing to the collective pain. They're contributing to the collective panic. The more of the collective panic,
Mhm.
If so, what does it mean when we say collective pain? It's actually something that's kind of hard to because if we're all connected and you have a headache right now and I don't feel it, so why is it collective? Why I don't feel your pain? And I'm focusing only, I need my hand sanitizer for me. Because we often live, Alan Watts said this so beautifully, he said we live on the earth and not as if we came from it. We have this weird idea of separation, that we're like ants, we're on top of the earth. We're not an integral part. We didn't come from it. We're not, for example, a mom and her baby, right? So the baby came from the mom. There's always going to be a connection, but there is a moment that the child, and that's, we see this, oh mom, stop it, you're like, and there's a separation, there's a distancing from the mother. But for the mother, that will never happen, right? Mother Earth will never feel, oh, I don't care about these kids. That never happened.
No,
So in the
no.
same way,
Being
right?
a
Your
mom,
kids,
there are still my babies. They'll
no
forever
matter
be my
what,
babies.
and they will be your babies even if they hurt you, even if they exploit you and take from you. You will always love them. That's the nature of motherhood. It's exactly what's going on right now. Mother Earth is crying. It's like, please, my babies, we have to do this together because you think that you're out of my womb, but you're not. You still need my milk. You still need my food. I'm still providing for you. And I wrote today or yesterday, and someone was so upset that I wrote this. I said, we're so upset that there's 6,000 people dead in Italy, and there's 1 second, the internet is saying something. Let me just take this out. Um, there's 6,000 dead here. There's 2,000 dead here. But if I am now Mother Earth and I'm saying, 6,000, that's your problem. What about 6 million whales? What about 10,000
Trees.
monkeys? What about the trees? What about the numbers are not even comparable how much you have hurt me. With what? With being more comfortable, with having more cars, with more yachts, with more planes. You didn't think about the influence that you're getting me sick. And if I'm sick, you're going to get sick. And that's what's happening. That's a wake-up call. So I wrote that for a very long time we have been the virus. We have been hurting, we have been taking, we have been exploiting. And the funny thing is, and that's why this is called the world of illusion, because we have this illusory idea that we're separate. And as long as we're separate, or we think that we're separate illusorily, then we suffer. But we think that the suffering that we will experience is a suffering which will be direct, meaning that we will see, oh, let's say killing the lions. I don't see any effect. It doesn't bother me if I'm going, like, that dentist that was in Africa and had a photo of standing on a lion. He doesn't feel it directly, but he fails to see the ecology. He fails to see the entire system. Okay, so there's no lion, so the gazelles, there are more gazelles, and they eat more of the grass, and there's no grass, and the bees. And it is all one system. And because of the evolution of our technology, which we have mostly or greatly used to escape our sense of self. So we have more technology, we have Facebook, we have this, more likes and more loves and more stuff, but we are so uncomfortable to be with ourselves. And that uncomfortability, because everything is connected, that uncomfortability is what caused this virus. This isolation is the final straw. It's like, okay, I don't know what to do. How I'm Mother Earth and I don't know what to do. You guys are not listening. You're killing me. You're killing yourselves. Peter just said, it's very interesting that we just burned so much of the Amazon forests out of greed. President Bolsonaro in Brazil, out of greed, hurting the Amazon, the lungs of the universe. And now this virus comes very shortly after and is attacking the lungs. Everything is connected. There's no action that does not has a response, a reaction. So what is the solution? And there's no solution because nothing happens overnight. So let's say even if the virus will end tomorrow, no more coronavirus, and this is all great, and we have the opportunity to either go back exactly to what it was in, like, let's say 1 month, 2 months, Okay, everyone's flying again, everything is back. But we have to observe already what's happening. So, for example, Italy, one of the biggest places with all so much death. In the very short time that there was isolation, already the canals in Venice have dolphins and fish returning, and the water is cleaner than ever before. I'm here in LA. I can tell you, you look around, you see that all the pollution, not all of it is gone, but you can see far away, you can see things are changing. Nature very quickly recovers. And we need to remember that at the end of the day, even if we'll destroy everything, atomic bombs, drink all the water, whatever we will do, we will die, but Mother Nature will persevere. It'll take 10 years, 1,000 years, a million years. Eventually, everything will return. There's so many beautiful stories about forests that have been preserved. The wolves are coming back, extinct birds are coming back. I think nature finds its way to return. But we have an opportunity that's really, really unique with this wonderful experience that we're living through in this moment. That's historic. It's probably the worst pandemic that happened to in the history of humanity, known to us. We have an opportunity to really, really pause and really start enforcing change, because change can only happen on an individual level. But how do we do that? What does it even mean? Okay, I will not kill lions, and I will not, but we need to observe in ourselves, what can I do more towards planet Earth that I haven't been doing? How conscious I am about my consumption. What am I buying? If I'm buying, for example, this water comes from Nestle, this company is stealing waters from half the world. So I'm not going to buy this anymore. And I'm very conscious about that. I will be more aware and more active, proactive in my actions towards how I live my life. But that relates, and it will only start the energy, the fuel to start this transformation is the willingness to sit in your weakness, to sit in isolation, even if people are around you, but to sit and accept yourself in those things that you are not so beautifully doing, that you're not doing to enhance living on planet Earth. But it's a very deep, emotional, psycho-spiritual process that you really, really, really need to understand that it all ends and begins in you. You have the responsibility of the entire universe on your shoulders. That's just what it is. You can't say anymore, it's just one person buying this or just one person. No, you cannot. Because that one person, which is you, is the whole universe. Everything starts and begins in you, right? And me, you, me.
Well, I can see one way that everyone's learning how to save, like just in small ways, is toilet paper. And it's everyone's like everyone I've talked to around the world, and they're using like a quarter of the toilet paper because that's all that's available. And so we're learning to get by on less. And being in India, then all of my friends and like just the air quality from being here 3 weeks ago. So cute, honey. 3 weeks ago to today, it's night and day difference. And there's just not very many people out and about because they've actually locked everything down here. So people can't be out and about. And the land is just flourishing and the air smells so good. And we have the clear view of the river. And what I wanted to share is like a week ago, I posted a video from Italy, and there was so much sadness and in so many places in there that I could just feel the grief and the fear and the things that were coming up. And there was this video that touched me so greatly at a certain time at night. Then it started with just a few complexes, and eventually it went across this whole city of people going out on their balcony and singing to one another. And that was the one way that they could share and unite. And it was just like you could feel their spirit so deeply. Like I love musicals and I love going to live performances because I can feel people's soul. And in that video, it was like the grandest live performance of my goosebumps everywhere, and just like, oh, there's hope for humanity because these guys turn the situation where some people, like there's videos of a guy crying and yelling for his neighbors, please send someone to come take my sister away because she lay dead in their house for 7 days, to all these guys singing. And so all this horror is happening, and this is what they turned it into. And it just, like, there's so many opportunities right now. But I go through every day shaking, screaming, yelling, just like throwing everything into the river because otherwise there's too much inside of me. And I've spent too much of my life trying to to make it less. And now I'm just like, okay, there's fear. What do you want to tell me, fear? What's moving through me?
Well, I wrote about this, the spiritual side of the coronavirus. So you're an empath and a medium, which means that you're like a open wire. So whatever is going through the collective consciousness, you're experiencing. And we need to learn, on one hand, to experience this and release it. And we also need to protect ourselves from this. But let's look again at what's going on in an esoteric way. This is going to be a little woo-woo, but
Yay.
for so we as humans, this what I'm talking about comes from the understanding of spiritism, which is the discovery of Allan Kardec in the 1800s, and has been confirmed, and basically is the basis to most of the spiritual teachings and any tradition. It's just a more methodic way to understand the world of spirit. So Allan Kardec will explain to us that in the center of our being, our soul, is like a nucleus, which is only spirit. There's nothing material about the soul at all. Around that, we have our physical body, which is only matter. There's nothing spiritual about the body. When we die, when the spirit leaves, it's just like a stick on the floor. There's nothing spiritual in it. Around our physical body, there's one more layer that's called peri-spirit. Peri is half. So half spirit, half matter. And they are, that peri-spirit is, we consider it like the aura, but the aura sounds magnetic, when in reality, the peri-spirit is more watery. And it's around us like an egg. And that, for example, when someone stands close, you feel it because their peri-spirit is condensed into you. And in the peri-spirit, we have our feelings, our thoughts, our sensations, our mental body, our etheric body, many different things. So when we are as a human being, when our peri-spirit is under influence of external sources, we feel what you're feeling. We feel a lot of emotions that are not necessarily our own. When you go, happen to many of us, we go into the subway and we're in the subway, and then we come out of the subway and suddenly we feel weak or depressed or sad or tired. And all that happened is that your peri-spirit got influenced by someone else. It has nothing to do with you. And you need to clean your peri-spirit and move on. Now, in the exact same way we spoke before about the microcosm and the macrocosm. So in the microcosm, we are separate cells, you, me, old Peter, old people. But in the macrocosm, we are just a cell of Mother Earth. And in the same way, Gaia is a deity of this planet. She has, the entire unit planet has a peri-spirit as well. The peri-spirit expands when you are in a state of love, gratitude, very full, and it contracts when you're instead of panic and fear. So the coronavirus is a biological threat to the continuation of humanity. However, the greater threat, is that so many people are in panic. And our media is greatly helping this, that everyone's buying because they think that they're not going to have food or toilet paper, and everyone's freaking out. So what it means is that when the collective Mother Earth is in that state of panic, it means that the peri-spirit of Mother Earth is now contracting. When that happens, we are more susceptible to an external influence, different spirits that are eating our light. And when that happens, what will happen, what you will see literally what happens in the microcosm, is that many individuals get even more panic, even more selfish, and even more violent. So this is a cycle that, oh, there's a lot of panic, so we're more susceptible to disease, violence, fear, panic. That leads to more panic, and then is a cycle. And so what is the invitation to people like us? That people like us, what I mean by that, people who care about this and care about Mother Earth and care about our spiritual life and care about our planet and care about each other, is to be aware of the condition that we're all in right now. And also we're in isolation. Maybe there's not good food. There's many reasons to develop these feelings. So not to ignore them and just like, no, everything is fine. Today I had to go to Staples to get something, and I'm like, there are people that they don't care. They just go and do whatever they want. They don't care about the disease and they don't believe it. I heard people don't believe. Someone said it, I was shocked to hear someone said this all like a conspiracy theory, that actually there's no virus. It's all to get us to buy things. And Okay, so that's extreme, but there are people that are just don't care. But your not caring is affecting other people. Maybe you have the virus and you will affect other people. But the point is this: when we understand this, we have to acknowledge, like you're doing, releasing the pain and the fears and the cries, releasing them, letting them be. Because if we're trying to control them and to uh, how do you say, like put them in our
Change
body,
it or push it away. Yeah.
push it away, it's only going to get stronger. And that
Yeah.
will weaken your pair spirit even more, making you even more susceptible. So we need to start by the acknowledgement of the situation. Okay, I am under a lot of stress in this moment, much more than usual. The universal pair spirit is very weak, so I'm even more under influence. And that means that it's easier for me to get upset, easier for me to fight with my partner, easier for me to get sick in many different ways. I actually need to read the dashboard of my car in a different way. So when I have this signal saying, I'm alone, I'm feeling sad, I'm feeling alone, in a normal state of being, I would say, yeah, you're probably alone. But in this condition of what's going on, your car giving you signals, but not to the right illness. What do I mean by that? If in your car, the light of oil is blinking, you know that you need to add more oil. But if there's something wrong with the dashboard and there's a flat tire and the oil one is going on, you know you need to fix the dashboard, not the wheel and not the oil. So we are in a situation that because of this influence, the dashboard of what we're experiencing is not giving us the right message. I'm feeling panic. I'm feeling stress. No, what your dashboard is saying to you, if you are feeling alone, eh, that light is saying someone in your sphere is asking to connect. Do exactly the opposite. You feel alone, pick up your phone, call a friend. Hey, Rudy, how are you? Sending you love. You're feeling stressed. It means go outside. If you have a way, if not just on your bed, just lie down, breathe, relax. So the signals at this moment are almost the opposite of what actually needs to be done. It is an opportunity, this isolation, to feel, to feel, to allow, to accept, to acknowledge, pick up a phone, talk to your friends, say, hey, I'm really freaking out. This is what's going on. And they'll say, yeah, me too. And then you both put your phone down and feeling better. So it's an opportunity to change our patterns of
I
what
have
we're so used to living in such a specific way. And our Netflix and all of our escapes are available to us, but it's not helping. You sit all day watching Netflix and then you're feeling more alone, more isolated, more. It's interesting that on Netflix right now they wrote that the number one movie is Contagion. So you need to increase like horror
wow.
movies. No, it's not helping. You need to stay centered. And actually, this is a call for a deeper spiritual practice. I just came back from Brazil. We did an amazing retreat with my mother church in Brazil. And many of my friends there are so spiritually evolved and developed. And their response to the virus is that they do every day an hour of prayer and meditation. And they go on calls and they do conversations about spirit because they understand that the only way to fight this is to strengthen your perispirit. How do you do that? By elevating your mind. If you're watching the news all the time and you're watching horrible movies about viruses, it's not going to help. It's not going to elevate you. I'm not saying ignore it. I'm not saying don't know what's going on, but be proactive in supporting the spiritual healing on this planet. I shared before, Peter, you weren't here. I shared about what you said about the lungs. That's very interesting. The Amazon and now this. We have to hear the calling. It cannot be more clear. But the
I
question
do.
is, how are we coming out of this? Like, what will be happening in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 1 month when, okay, virus is over? Then I'm really interested to see what's going to happen next.
So what you're saying is you're a spiritual mechanic. Is that it?
We all are. Because the body in a way is a machine, it's like it's a beautiful biological machine. It's very advanced, very magnificent, but we just don't always read the signs in a spiritual way. We actually
Right.
know that's another thing. That's another part of the programming. We are socially programmed to relate to the body only materially. So when we feel sad, we've been programmed, go eat ice cream, hurt yourself, continue, consume, go see a movie. Like, just don't sit with it. Don't feel it. Don't acknowledge it. Just escape. So as long as we're escaping our reality, as long as we're escaping our situation, we're just, it's like, how do you call that animal that puts his head in an ostrich? We're just
An
putting our head,
ostrich.
everything is still happening. The virus, everything is still happening. You can't escape. So you have finally got to this place that the teacher here, Mother Earth, is saying, go to your room. Don't come out of your room until you thought really well about what you did. But it's not just what you did to her, it's what you did to you. Why didn't you listen? Why did you allow this, consumerism and escapism run your life?
Kai, do you have your little instrument? Do you have it close by?
I don't, I've been traveling so much that I don't even know half of where my things are.
Well,
Yeah,
can you sing the song without it, or do you have to have the instrument?
I have St. Francis,
You do have St. Francis.
and I have a unicorn, and that's basically it. A few more things. But I would like to read a prayer if you are willing to let me.
Yes, please read the prayer. And then if you're open to singing even without your instrument, like what you're talking about, you've been teaching me for 2 years. And when
Okay.
you're alone and when you're afraid, open your heart. And I think that would be amazing. But I don't know if you do you dare to sing it without your instrument?
But I need the sounds. Let's see what we can do.
What do you have here?
Okay, so a prayer for facing isolation. Dear God, I find myself at this moment in isolation. My freedom to follow my desires is limited by an external situation. I'm confined to my surroundings and have to remain centered within my own sense of self. I ask that you guide me on how to approach this experience with openness and curiosity. Show me how to utilize my time in a way that will benefit my spiritual growth and evolution. I wish to stand tall in facing my own experience of aloneness, not focus on what I can't do or don't have. It is easy for me to follow my fears or center in my loneliness and not relate to this opportunity for inner work and evolution. I wish to concentrate the rays of my mind and face my truth as it comes. I ask to discipline my actions and choose to embrace my apprehension, leading it towards growth and rejuvenation. Dear angels of light and connection, envelop me within your wings of joy. Shine within my heart and remind me of my divine I am center, which is always centered and aspires towards wholeness. Help me make the choices that will elevate me in these moments of extended time and limited space, pushing me towards elevation and transformation. Guide my interests in such a way that will spark a creative revolution within me and bring me to a deeper sense of peace. As I observe the passing of time, I am aware of the much needed slowing down of my actions and the more profound sense of choice I have in designing my own reality. I'm choosing prayer and introspection, choosing to embrace my inner world of thought and feeling, allowing my core to affect my actions on the surface, having my heart guide my day to day and not my overzealous mind. As I slow down and act with awareness, I return to myself and allow my sense of being to flow with the course of nature. Dear God, if I can, at this moment, find ways, even from within my isolation, to inspire my brothers and sisters, I ask that you guide me how to do so. If I can, even from a distance, support others in their struggle, I ask that you inspire my words and fortify my actions. My celestial heart shines and illuminates my path, allowing me to soar within my limitless inner sky and find connection no matter where I'm at and what situation I might be facing. And so I am, and so it is. This prayer, there's one important part. You might be limited by space. You might be not so much limited by time, but within you, there's an unlimited treasure. Within you, there is creativity. So the difference, for example, between us and children. For example, you see there are boxes behind me, and if you could see the rest of the room, there's a lot of different things, quite messy. For an adult, it's like, oh, I need to arrange the bed, and I need to do this, and I need to write, and I need to do this. But for a child, these two boxes they can play with for a whole day. This is a spaceship, this is a universe, this is a tent, this is, a circus. But we sometimes have lost this creative spark. Look at where you're at. This is one of the most beautiful places in the world. How many poems can you write a day? How many prayers? How many new practices of Qigong Peter can find? It's the choice of what do I do with this reality? We have been programmed that I'm locked in a room and that's all I have. That programming is now being challenged. Maybe not. Maybe this supposed confined room is an opportunity for finding a much greater space that's inside of you. No?
The TARDIS.
The what?
It's the TARDIS.
Yeah.
Bigger on the inside. It's a space for you to explore everything.
But it requires what Krishnamurti would say. It requires a lot of courage to start looking inside. We are so programmed and so patterned and so used to escaping this that even the idea of, oh, maybe I can just be with myself, that no, I have to. So I'm in my house, so I need to watch Netflix and I need to get my stuff and I need to get my tissues and all my things. But maybe not. I've written the last couple of days more than I have in the last few months. There's space, creative space. There's so many things, I can invent worlds, universes, dragons, unicorns.
Allowing your perception to not be skewed by what's happening on the outside world. People are watching CNN and all of these news programs and are being so inundated with information, they're allowing the perception of the outside world to really narrow the scope of what the reality is. And when you go inward, you shut all that off and you just go inside and you be with nothing. That's when the entire universe opens up to you. And you have an infinite possibility of creating whatever it is you want, even if you are inside a small little room.
And what happens?
What happens?
From that, when you get there, when you understand what you just said, when you're not afraid of looking inside, then you will eventually come to the conclusion that you are spirit. That you can say, I'm confined to this body. I've been confined to this body my whole life, right? But when you understand that you're spirit, then the notion of ending this life is not that scary anymore. Okay, I'll die. I'll get another car in the other. I'll get another body. It's okay. And then what happens? Then I'm saying, why should I hoard toilet paper? Because what about my friend there? He needs also. It's much easier for you when you have that centeredness to see things for what they are. When CNN tells you, listen, in 2 weeks, there's no more toilet paper, everyone, right? But, okay. So the thought is, okay, so let me buy 3, one for me, one for you, one for Monique. I instead, but I'm about to die. There's such fear of death that is so illogical. It's so irresponsible of the media to present the reality as it is. I understand, of course, yes, we need to be socially isolated, but even that can be transmitted in a positive way, guiding people to deal with their emotions, guiding people, hey, it's a time, care for your family, call your friends, be with your neighbors, and but this like showing people buying in the store. So, oh my God, if all my friends are running to the stores, like I have to get, and then more panic, more disaster. So we're just
It's getting
oh.
it's getting excited about changing your behavior so that you are in control of your perception of your reality. Because ultimately, we create our reality moment by moment. And if we allow ourselves to be habitually guided to go to the outside world and go to the internet and go to these news programs, we're abdicating our control for what reality is if we constantly seek outside. But when we have the willingness to go inside, then we have the ability to create whatever we want, and we can feel safe in our body no matter where we are and no matter what situation we're in. We have that ability, but we've forgotten it because we're so fucking scared of the unknown. And we're habitual beings of constantly wanting to seek and find out what the fuck is going on, what is happening. I need to know if I can be safe. But you're safe right here, right now, when you go inside. Monique wants to share something.
Honey, I found the video of you singing it to me. That has the music.
First of all, you haven't showed us Baby Yoda.
Okay, I'll get Baby Yoda, but then do I have your permission to play you singing the song?
If that makes you happy.
Yes, because I want everyone to hear you.
I just want to say for Peter, what Peter you just said, it's the incessant running in control of the uncontrollable. We can all freak out from the coronavirus, but you can fall off that ledge. It's like, okay, you're free from the coronavirus, but death is inevitable. And this incessant fear of everything, trying to have and control and change the reality, not changing anything, just putting you in a more stressful situation, which will put you in a higher risk. There's a beautiful story about a rabbi in Russia that he was taken into jail. And he knew that he was supposed to die the following day. And in his same cell, there was another person that took with him. And he couldn't sleep. He was like, oh my God, I don't know my whole life. I'm going to die. This is horrible, like crying. And the rabbi is just sleeping there very peacefully in the bed. So the guy woke him up in the middle of the night. I just don't understand. We're both going to die. How can you be? He says, is there anything I can do about it? No. In the morning, when they came to the cell, they woke him up and he was so relaxed. And the other guy, no, please give me another opportunity. So they took the guy and they killed the first guy. Then the second time, the guard came to the rabbi and said, okay, you're next, please. And the guy was like, no problem, okay. And the guard was so surprised. He says, I have never seen such a behavior. And he told him, listen, you think that gun that you're holding can kill me, but I will never die. My body will die, this consciousness will die, but I will never die. And the guard was so amazed by his centeredness that he let him go. That's exactly the point, that you never know.
We've all had many of those stories in our own lives, Kai, where we've wanted something so badly. I want this new car, this new job, this new relationship. I want this new Baby Yoda. And we're holding on to this idea of wanting it so badly. It's not until the moment we surrender to the fact that we might not get it is when the universe gives it to you. I've had that happen to me hundreds and hundreds of times, or I've been on the brink of death even. And I'm just like fighting for my life. And I'm like, oh fuck, like this is it. I am literally going to die. And tears are running down my face. I'm looking at my family who is I'm seeing my family for the final time. I'm like, this is it. I'm going to die. And literally in that millisecond, the universe did what it needed to do to save my life. The millisecond, Kai. And it was me honestly surrendering to the universe that, okay, I'm going to die. This is it. I'm not resisting anymore. The universe gave me my life back.
You know who is the greatest spiritual teacher that taught this lesson you just said? Big Bird.
Big Bird.
Yeah.
Please tell that story.
Big Bird wanted a cookie, so he puts his hand in a cookie jar. And then because he holds a cookie, can't take this hand out. So Elmo comes and says, you need to break the jar because I want the cookie. He says, no, just let it go. That's how it goes. What you can't, it doesn't work like, that's how it works. Let it go, it will come to you. And if it doesn't come to me, I don't have the Baby Yoda. I don't need it in this moment. No. It will come to me when I'm ready.
It will come to you.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm officially.
Are you ready to hear yourself?
I'm officially proclaiming to the universe that at this moment, I'm letting go of my need for a Baby Yoda and trusting that he will come in the proper moment.
Yeah. Okay, here goes. Kai, open your heart.
Play?
In a minute. Keep talking till it starts. It'll start in a minute, so you can keep talking till it starts.
Do we have, I don't know if we can see if people are asking questions or anything.
Ooh,
I don't know how to see it from Zoom, honey.
I think I can do it on the computer. Let's see.
Let's see. Here, hold on. I think I can go to the page. Lots of people are saying hi.
So you can keep talking till it starts.
Do we have?
No, I don't see it. Everyone's just saying, oh, here we go. You're on, bud.
Now I think it will work. Sorry, screen.
Yeah, I get it.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
No. See, we just have to let it go. It's more letting go, Kai.
We're holding on too tightly to having you sing for us.
Open your heart.
Yep.
But I'm alone. But I'm afraid. No, you're not. Open your heart. Even this song, you see, it's not saying, I'm alone, I'm afraid. Oh, so go out and see somebody. Or go watch Netflix. Just open your heart. Everything's there. The thing is, you know, it's so interesting. We don't believe this. That's the problem. That's the irony of spiritual life. We don't believe. We hear it's such a cliche. It's all inside of you. It's all inside of you. You are the treasure. You are the end of the story. Blah, blah. I've heard it a million times. How many times? How many spiritual teachers? How many books? But there is this foundational fear of the unknown. But what if I'm the only one that doesn't? What if I will look inside and I don't have the treasure inside of me? Everyone does, but I don't. There's such a fear to love ourselves unconditionally. It's supposedly the hardest thing in the world. I love it how all enlightened beings always the same response when the Buddha, all the first response to enlightenment, what is, you know?
What is it?
Laughter.
Yes, you're right.
So how could I not see this before? How is it possible? It's so close. It's so, I didn't see. But why didn't you see? Because you expect unicorns and you'll find just yourself. That's it. Nothing more. Any questions for our viewers that we can, or requests you want us to sing or dance or anything we can do to uplift your mood in this moment as we're hugging you in your isolation? Baby Yoda, some Jedi mind tricks.
Yes. And look at this beautiful.
Let's see, I'm seeing.
Let it bring its peace.
Can you sing it to us now instead of Monique's phone? I can't sing it without a kalimba.
Okay. But what about we do a meditation?
I'm looking at that. Yeah, someone said so beautifully. If you're feeling alone, it means someone in your circle wants to connect. That's the core of this prayer. Monica, are you guys still there? Because
Yeah.
you seem stuck.
Can you hear
Okay.
us?
Yeah, yeah. So if you're feeling alone, it means someone else needs to connect. The journey of falling in love with ourselves is the reprogrammation of what we consider as negative emotions. I feel, for example, the best one, shame. There's a deeper conversation about shame, guilt, and comparison, but let's just take shame. If you look at it, what's the energy of shame? Like if I tell you, can you physically describe shame to me? It will be this, right? I sink down and I kind of hide, so I'm going backwards, which in other
Making
words,
yourself smaller.
making myself smaller, but I'm essentially I'm coming out of my center. I'm shrinking and going backwards and coming out of my center. But that is another one of those feelings that we haven't learned how to identify what the dashboard means when you're feeling shame. That there is in this moment, in this exact moment, someone in your sphere that's feeling the exact same feeling. And if you come to them and you say, you know, I did this and that, or I think about myself in these ways, you will intuitively know who to reach out to. And that person is going to say to you in the exact same moment, wow, me too. And this is our negative emotions. When you're only holding onto them to yourself, what can describe here negative emotion? Let's say this. If this is my negative emotion, and we're holding on to it, it's like math. Minus. If only I am holding on to my minus, then I will stay with that and it will actually grow to a deeper minus. But just like math, if I am coming to you with my minus and you're talking to me about what your minus, what happens? Oh, it becomes a plus. So if I'm sharing my shame with you, I'm sharing your shame with you, from pain to joy, from pain to joy.
The unicorn.
We're just, again, programmed not to share, try to solve everything by ourselves, because if I tell you about my shame, then you will judge me and you will think that I'm horrible. See, it's all messed up. It's just the wires are not plugged in the right place. Standing in your weakness is your greatest strength.
Mm-hmm.
Every time that you do that, right? You and I, how many times? The greatest fears. That's the moment that the other person loves you more. That's the person that the person feels more connected. That's the moment that you think, oh my God, if I will say just this thing, he will never talk to me again. And they will a year later tell you, you know, that's when I really fell in love with you. That moment that you came like that, that changed everything for us.
Because you dared to open your heart.
Open your heart.
Hey Kai, why don't you leave our viewers today with a suggestion of what you would do when you're feeling down? So a lot of our viewers are feeling obviously sour, dour, depressed, perplexed. They're in a quandary. They don't know what to do and are feeling pretty down on themselves. What would you recommend?
St. Francis.
Grab a St. Francis deity replica model and hold it towards your heart. Is that what you're recommending?
That helps. But why I pick up St. Francis? Consolar quise consolado, compreender quis ser compreendido, amar quis ser amado. Don't seek to be consoled, console. Don't seek to be understood, understand. Don't seek to be loved, love. So if you're feeling down, this is the signal that someone in your sphere is needing your help. Rewrite your mechanism that whenever I'm feeling down, someone needs me. Someone, even that, someone needs to feel I'm down. So I'm feeling horrible. It's not that I'm going to reach out and complain. I'll call, hey, Rudy, how are you? I really wanted to hear your voice and see how you're doing. I'm in a little bit in a challenge right now, but I really wanted to hear about you. How are you doing? That initiative will elevate you. That decision to console and not to be consoled. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be loved. It's not wrong, but it's what hurts you, that seeking of it. That all of your energy is now, why I'm not understood, why I'm not loved, why I'm not consoled. Instead, okay, I'm not consoled. Okay, I'm not. And I'm sad and I'm down and I'm all the things that you said. Let me elevate myself. Let me find the strength from nothing to go and reach someone else. And it's like a muscle. In the beginning, you do it first time, and you're like, oh, but I'm really feeling bad. What do I have to give? That, the honesty and the vulnerability to share how you're feeling. And then the other person says, yeah, wow, my God, me too. And then you'll realize, wow, what's happening in me? I'm coming out of it. I didn't do anything. I didn't say, didn't give me solutions, didn't give me have to fix it. Just by the expression of my truth, standing of my weakness, I just helped someone else. So you feel, it feels good. And then you do it again, it feels better. And then it starts to become your nature, that you're not afraid of facing yourself. And you're starting to identify that these challenges, things, feelings, emotions, and all of it is just a part of a rainbow of who you are. A rainbow is not just the bright colors, it's also the browns and the bad colors. It's everything bad, not bad, but it's the whole gamut of expression of being human. It's amazing to be human. There's this
It
beautiful
is amazing.
shoot, I forgot. It's apart from Macbeth, I think, or Hamlet, that Picard says in Star Trek, and I used to know it by heart, but he's saying something to the degree of how divine it is to be human, how fragile, how broken, how like a god. And it's like, what? God broken, fragile? Yes, most. God can cry with the tears of devotion from a devotee offering a leaf of a flower. The most touching thing there is. One of my favorite stories. You're in India. Actually, this story happened in Rishikesh in the Jagannath temple. The beautiful Jagannath. You have to go, Monique. Jagannath temple in
Jagannath,
Rishikesh.
the temple's here.
One of them, yeah, the bigger one, the biggest one is in Jagannath Puri, but you're very close to a very big Jagannath temple. But this story is that there was a devotee of Jagannath, but he was not a Brahmana. He wasn't a priest. He was from the Shudras, the castes that are not allowed to go into the temples. But one night he woke up and I have to see Krishna. I have to see the statue. So he came, and as he wanted to come into the temple, they said, you cannot go in because the temple is not for your kind. And he was crying and crying and crying. So one of the priests had some compassion. He said, listen, you can go at the back of the building, and if you stand there, you'll see the back of the statue of Krishna in the window. So at least you don't see Krishna, but at least you see the back of Krishna. So the devotee was there and he fell asleep. And in the morning, the priest came into the temple and he saw that the statue turned around to face the yard.
Oh,
The God is the most fragile. God is moved by every tiniest action that a devotee makes. And that's what's happening right now. The earth will be moved, and this virus will be moved by every tiniest of expression of devotion that we have. If we go into fear and frantic and get more toilet paper, the virus will be like, yeah, you think that's enough toilet paper? It'll keep attacking. But if we stay centered, even in isolation, faith, strength, pray, reach out to our brothers and sisters, take care of each other, go to the store and get toilet paper, give it to someone in the street. Do take that extra mile to support going to the store. Look around, maybe someone doesn't have, maybe someone is really struggling in this moment. And that's what I'm saying. This is a what we're experiencing right now is an incredibly precious spiritual opportunity. There's so much we can do for each other. There's so much love we can share, so much opportunity. And that's why you said in the beginning that on one hand, you're feeling a lot of panic, but in the exact same moment, you're feeling so much love in the air.
Yeah.
We're just in the scales right now. So you, me, and all of us hearing on this call right now, it's up to us to take that a little bit extra step just to change the scale a little bit from fear to love.
Well, you should have seen the people's faces, honey. We had time to go to the store so that we had food here to take care of ourselves. And I got a lot of chocolate and I gave it to our Uber driver. I gave it to our host. I gave it to the kids outside. Like I got all this extra chocolate and they were so happy because there's not very much here. And so the littlest bit is met with so much gratitude and just tears of joy. And I just keep feeling I'm alive right now. Like on the worst of the days when I'm feeling like I don't want to get out of bed, like this feels so horrible. I'm like, okay, right now, I'm safe right now in this breath. I'm so grateful for this breath. I'm so grateful that I can love, that I can feel, that I can be right here in this moment. And that will often bring me back to, okay, nobody knows the next breath. Right now, I have this breath and I'm so grateful.
You just reminded me an amazing experience that I had when I was 17. I was a part of a group that went to, we had like a government organized trip from Israel to Prague and Czechoslovakia. So when we crossed the border from Hungary to Czechoslovakia, they told us that we cannot take with us any currency that we had from Hungary. So let's say we had $1,000 altogether but $1,000 in those days was a lot of money. So we stopped just before the border. We stopped in a small town and we went to a store and we literally bought everything in the store. All the bread, all the chocolate, everything.
All the toilet paper.
And for the owner of the store, it was like he just won the lottery. Like he could not believe it. But what was amazing is that what we decided to do with all this food is to give it to all the people of the town.
Oh,
No, you can't even imagine the amount of happiness that we created in that day. It was
they were
unbelievable.
singing, I bet.
Singing, dancing. It was so beautiful. And
Oh.
we have this opportunity every moment, you know. I had to go to the store today to get some food, and what I'm about to say is understandable. I wasn't offended by. I was going down the aisle, and then there was a person coming in the other side, and he was so freaked not to touch me. He's like, he's like jumped, you know. So it's like, and I'm thinking to myself, I mean, I get it, I understand, and of course respect this, but I'm thinking to myself, you know what's really sad for me? How often we do that without the virus. How often, like, you know what, 2-3 weeks, I don't know, 3 months ago, you can see that exact same behavior with just a homeless person coming in, right? Without the virus, there's no risk for us. And because you can die, then, oh my God. And again, like I said before, this is an opportunity to reevaluate all of our behaviors and all our interactions. Why are we jumping?
Well,
Why do we
obviously we all three have so much to say on the subject, and so I'd love to have you back on as much as possible, Kai Karrel. I love your wisdom. I love your insight. I love you so much.
I have nowhere to go, so for the next X days, whenever you want.
Well, let's do a future one. Then I'd love for you to show people, especially empaths and highly sensitives, how to clear their peri-spirit, because I think that that's really important for people.
I'll give a small thing right now, understanding that the peri-spirit, it goes either in or out, right? But it can only do one of the two. It can either contract or expand. So if you want it to stay strong and in expansion, you need to be in a emotion and thought-wise in a giving. if every time that you start freaking out, then it will start. So it's almost like training a water, how do you say it? Beach ball, right? You want it to sink into the water. So in the beginning, it just jumps, right? You need to kind of habitually train yourself to be in a positive attitude of gratitude. It's a lifelong practice, but just remember this, that when you're like, oh, I need my things, give. Okay, I want to protect myself, give. I want to protect myself, I want to protect myself. And
Open
eventually
your
that
heart.
will be habitual. It will be a part of who you are, and you'll understand it, because the stronger your spirit is, the easier this also gets, because you're full. You're feeling completely protected and safe.
Thank
So
you.
you need some tissue?
I love you so much.
I love you too. I
Thanks
love
for
how,
sharing your tissue
you
with
know,
me.
I'll tell you what I love about our calls is that they're so impromptu. Like we're just having fun. You know, often
Yeah.
when I'm going on interviews, we're like, yeah, so yeah, the universe, you know, and we're like Baby Yoda.
Unicorns,
Yeah,
tissues,
I hope,
boxes,
I hope,
spaceships.
I hope that our joy is infectious.
Mhm.
That is something
Thank
I'm
you.
happy to contage other people with my joy.
Thank you for existing, Kai Karrel.
Thank you for existing. Love
Thank you
Thanks
you.
for
for
joining us, Peter.
yeah. Thanks for your creativity and your love and your light.
I would like Baby Yoda to close our conversation with a namaste.
Okay, let's see if he has a purple mala, just like mine. Look, I found him a purple mala. There's his namaste.
Ouch,
Ouch.
love you guys.
May the force be with you.
May the force be with us.